Hey everybody, welcome back to the Court of Random Opinion. My name is Lauren Neidigh. I'm here with my friend Omar Serrato, the Tilted Lawyer, and I know you always have some very colorful, complimentary introductions for people, but this is Omar. This is my friend. So we're just gonna hang out.
Earlier today, I described you as a feral caterpillar.
Whoa, mister. I hear your sound over there. What?
Oh, was that?
Yeah. I don't want to hear my own voice. Damn.
Oh, are you echoing? I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Not sure if Lauren will pass along. What do you want me to pass along, bro? You may not see in his own comments. What are you not seeing?
I don't know. I see comments. I don't know if they're on from my channel or your channel or how that even works. Hey, what's up, Melissa? They must be coming from my comments because my old assistant is in here. What's up, Miss Castro?
No wonder she's your old assistant.
She said hello.
I met your new assistant. She told me all kinds of shit.
Jocelyn?
Oh, yeah.
Did you meet Jocelyn?
Yes, I did. I was in your office.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that.
Yeah, it was a bad work day for you.
What'd she tell you about me?
I'm not going to tell you that. It's privileged.
Like hell it is.
All right. So before we get into this, everybody wants to ask questions about the motion for recusal thing because I've been seeing that on Twitter. I've been seeing that everywhere. Everybody's sending it to me. Everybody's tagging me in this shit. Like, why is no one talking about, the judge and the conflicts and all this stuff? And I'm like, well, because I've been on 2 different continents and several different time zones in the last 3 weeks, and I'm absolutely out of my mind with exhaustion. So it just took me a minute, and we'll go over that. But I did want to, this thing came out earlier. I wanted to ask you some questions about it because I didn't really understand. The subpoena to Justin Baldoni's law firm. You said you had some thoughts on that. What kind of thoughts were you having?
Because that's the one of the communications from
I messaged you and I messaged you and I was like, is this weird? Yeah, this seems weird to me, but I don't know. I've never seen this before. So I don't know. What were you thinking about that?
Well, I was trying to get a handle on how that would possibly be relevant in the context of this case. Which it's overly broad for one. What do you mean content creators? Are we talking about podcasts? Or we're talking about YouTube? Or we're talking about radio, television personalities?
I think they did say specifically like every single website under the sun, even fucking 4chan was on there. Like it's
irrelevant.
It's a lot. Yeah.
For what purpose?
I don't know. I don't know about you, but I only post on 4chan, so maybe it does apply.
Not been on 4chan since like 2008.
I just wanted to hear you say you've been on 4chan. I haven't. You're a freak.
What even isn't that just like a site full of memes?
I think it's just racist. I'm not sure.
I have no idea what it's turned into. I remember it being a thing like way back when.
Can I just point out that everyone in my chat here is like on a gummy right now, and I just love that I fostered this environment of like just super baked people.
All the gummies that I give you, I don't consume myself.
Yeah, they're thanks for that. No, I took one right before I got to the airport, and I was like, I'm so fucking hungry. This is the best bad airport food I've ever had.
Oh boy! By the way, I'm all by myself tonight. That's why I'm able to stream so early with you.
Early? It's 11:11 here. Where is everybody? Did your wife leave you? I wasn't expecting that for a little while longer.
No, she's in North Carolina.
Without you?
And
you don't want to go to North Carolina?
Do I want to go to North Carolina?
Yeah, why not?
For what? Because I got trial this week.
Oh, whatever. North
Carolina's conflict cool, of work. I would love to go there. I would love to go there. Do they have mountains?
Can you just like zoom into your hearing? Yeah, of course I do.
Not for trial. I wish I usually would, but in this case, I have to be there and like do shit.
Yeah.
I got to go put on a big presentation.
Your old assistant is telling on you. You gave me a gummy once. Do you give your gummies to your employees?
I do.
Work? Is that what?
Yeah.
How much do you pay?
Not enough to. I can't afford you. Put it that way.
Nobody can afford me, but I might still hang out.
I guess it just depends on what you do.
If you ask, we'll talk about that in private.
Not enough.
All right, that's not the stuff I usually get paid for, but
I don't want to know what you get paid for.
You already do, buddy.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right. Okay. So you said the content creators thing. You were like saying, "What does that mean?" Let me just
get my whole because I know you got ADHD. Like
so,
joking.
You're gonna pretend we don't have that in common? Fuck.
No, but I'm more. I deal with it better.
Yeah, at this time of night for you, when my medication has worn off several hours ago, because you're like, let's do this at 11 o'clock airtime. Okay, go ahead.
So look, that's an immediately motion to quash that subpoena because what are you doing? Motion, you want communications from every content creator for what purpose? How is it relevant to any cause of action that you have? Second of all, privileged attorney work product. I don't have to share with you all of the meanderings of my investigation. Third, name one percipient witness to anything relevant in your cause of action. Name one party to the action. For what purpose are you asking for? It would be a hard motion to quash from my end. I'm expecting it to be, I'm expecting the subpoena to be quashed. That's what I'm expecting. Unless there's just something I'm really missing. I just cannot imagine why communications between the Wayfair parties and content creators could possibly be relevant to the time period of this lawsuit, which stretches back from what, 2022?
So they're asking from July 1st, 2024, actually, until the present.
July 1 of 24 until present. So why? I'd want to know why.
Well, so she's alleging that there is an ongoing defamatory campaign and that the law firm is acting as agents for Wayfair in this defamatory campaign. Can you explain though? Can you explain though? Just because there's a lot of people who want this, what is work product versus like just like stuff that's privileged?
Like if I'm working stuff up, you know, like if I am producing and making internal documents, like I have a conversation with somebody and I write notes on it. You don't get to have my notes. That's my work product. That is my workup of the case. You know, my internal meanderings. You can know who I talked to. You can know who I met with. You can know, communications, some of them, who I spoke with, and you can talk to them yourself. But you don't get to hear my internal dialogue about this case as I'm working up a case. That's pretty much the difference.
Okay.
And so I guess the difference here would be anything not related specifically to a smear campaign would be.
Well, that's if
100%.
you ask me, that's everything. But
that's what I mean. It's like, so they're looking for communications that they had with content creators, presumably to start producing smear campaign related content. When did anybody start covering this case? It was after the CRD complaint was filed. So in my opinion, anything after the CRD should not be allowed. Now, YouTubers and content creators all started picking up this case after the fact.
Well, there was a handful of people, and not a lot to my recollection. There were a handful of people who were kind of getting in on this, and they're like, why isn't Justin Baldoni in the promotion of this film at all? And so people, as people do on TikTok and stuff like that, they started speculating, and then they started looking into things like, crazy people, which is, fine, crazy people, I'm crazy. But like they started looking at all this stuff and they're like coming up with these theories. And then they come up with, well, Blake Lively is like promoting this like a psycho when it's supposed to be about domestic violence. She's like, let's have a drink and wear your flower dress. Like, so it's just weird.
I mean, I don't think that they're going to find anything. I don't think it matters.
No, I don't either. But
that they turn over those communications.
Right. They're saying that those people basically started doing this because basically they were prompted to by Justin's like smear campaign, or like whether it was, like communicating with them directly, or whether it was just like kind of seeding
the fact that they're going after content creators tells me that they got nothing.
Well, I was offering up mine because I have like at least 2 unanswered requests for comment that they can totally have. So it is what it is.
I'll give them all of my communications.
Come on, Brian. You want to talk to TMZ? That's fine. Don't answer my
I ain't gonna
emails.
find much.
Just give them mine.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's just their due diligence. I suspect the reason why they're asking for that is because they have nothing else tangible.
Huh. But is this like a weird, unusual thing, or no?
No, I mean, you can ask whatever. I ask for all kinds of stupid shit.
Because I talked to one other person, and she said, it's maybe kind of makes sense in the context here.
No, I understand why they're doing it. I'm not saying that it's out of bounds or anything. I'm just saying that I would object to it. And even if my motion to quash was overruled or whatever, and they got to do the subpoena, whatever, fine. But if you're going to ask for all this shit, I'm going to move to quash it just because I don't think that it's relevant. I might lose because I didn't even think about that. Oh, my opinion, nobody was picking up this case until after the CRD complaint landed. That's when I started covering it. That's when you started covering. I don't know.
I remember seeing a lot of stuff about it. I was just like, I couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I just couldn't care.
I will readjust my analysis. Insofar as they're looking for communications from content creators within the relevant time period of the lawsuit, that's discoverable. Sure. You probably won't get that quashed. So it's fair. Well, shit. Yeah, I could see it. I could see it, but it tells me a little bit. I suspect that they're doing it because they don't have anything else tangible and they're just doing their due diligence. Is it out of bounds? No, it's something that I'd probably ask for. I've asked for weirder stuff. Whenever I do, like,
I bet you have. But at work, do you still? Yeah.
Well, just imagine that you were in a family law case and your
I probably will be someday.
Suspected that you were hiding income or whatever. I might ask you I want all bank statements for the duration of the marriage.
Brother, I have no money. I just spent it all. So.
And that might be a true statement, but I would ask you for all your bank statements, all your checking accounts, all your savings accounts, all your money market accounts,
any
retirement account of all time, any stock accounts, any crypto accounts. I want the names of anybody you've ever conducted business with.
Bro. I still have Dogecoin.
I would ask you for like 28 different things that probably don't apply. And then you give me like
I have at least 50 Dogecoin. I think that's worth like 20 cents. I'm not sure.
Doge?
Yeah, man.
That
was a thing back in.
Well, good thing you got in early.
Yeah, I didn't get out though, and I should have. I should have gotten out when fucking Elon went on SNL. But yeah,
I do. Jess asked me if I do family law and CA. Yes, ma'am, I do. I assume that Jess is a ma'am and not a sir.
Me, bro. I don't fucking know.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody in light of recent events.
Well, I don't think you have to worry about that, but you're going to offend.
I never do, but I tend to. I don't know. I feel like
we're going to be here for at least an hour. You're going to piss someone off, and so am I. It's fine. Okay. So the thing is, like, that you were saying, like, I'll ask for all this stuff, and I'm trying to think, like, there's a million reasons why you might not want someone to have that information. It doesn't mean you're guilty.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, I don't want you to have my fucking bank statements because I don't want you to see what I've been doing to myself with my finances. Like, it doesn't mean that I've done some crazy, conspiracy thing.
But
it's
that's
what
they do. They go, they would go item by item, and they see like, oh, $14.95 to Pornhub, huh? That's not coming out in court or anything.
I don't buy Pornhub.
I mean, I don't know how much it costs, but I'm assuming that's what you're trying to hide.
Because that was real specific.
I mean, shut up, Lauren. How much
you can just like go on Pornhub for free, bro? You don't have to pay for it. I don't know if anyone ever told you that because it sounds like you've just been going through the motions with.
I don't fucking know, man. I was throwing out an example that I thought might be relevant to you. Nobody's looking at your porn receipts. Is all I'm saying.
I don't have porn receipts, you weirdo.
Because you get it for free from the hub.
No, I get it for free from the horrible, heinous things I see in my DMs.
E
is right.
I don't even want to know.
Some of it's really insulting, and some of it is just really friendly.
Oh, whew. I got a big metal trash can underneath my desk.
I bet you do. Oh. I'd fit right in there.
Here it is. Look at this. Wow. Put that over there. All right, I'm ready. What's that face about, Warren?
I was just thinking. I'll tell you later.
All right.
Here's a link to send Lauren a Pornhub gift. What did you do, bro? Oh my god. I hate you.
Oh, I mean, people are looking after you.
Fucking hell. All right, man. Yeah, if you want to do that, my last 4 digits are 3952. Just send me your money and I'll totally spend it on porn I could get for free.
Or the 7-Eleven margaritas.
No. I don't need any more of that. We need the swim race more than corn. I posted like a little clip of it the other day.
Oh, you didn't post the good part. You posted the part where I was drowning.
That was the good part for me.
Because I rewatched, I was like, holy shit, I was like winning. I was winning like halfway through, and then I swallowed water and it was over. It was over.
Yeah.
Once I feel like I'm drowning, I quit.
So, I mean, that didn't take long, did it?
No, it didn't.
Well, as I was watching the video, and I remember you stopped in the middle of the pool, and you're like, I was running into the other lane. I watched it back, and I was like, are you blind? You were fine.
Like, I felt like I was running next to the lane. I don't know what happened. I felt like I was veering off course, and then I swallowed water, and I just got disoriented. And then I tried not to quit. I was like trying to backpedal. It's like, yeah, I fucking lost.
Let's not pretend you're not used to swallowing, but everything else, maybe I'll give you a pass.
Well.
All right. Anyways. if you just ask Teresa if you need a link to help with that. Anyways, so this other thing that I was thinking about in that document was just like the request for the phone records. They're saying they want phone calls to specific people who would have influenced Brian Friedman's public statements, and I'm like, that has to be Scott Swift. Otherwise, I don't know who else they're talking about, really, because they're talking about until present. So it
Well,
has
they
to be.
probably don't have to name it. Just anybody that might have
No,
influenced his.
but
decisions.
they're talking about the Taylor Swift stuff, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So like, I don't know what else they would talk about. Like, otherwise, it's like your clients are obviously informing your statements here.
Yeah, I mean, again, I would probably object if I'm sure Friedman will object, but I'm not sure. I guess I'd have to see them brief it.
2 Tony Robbins equals 1 porn.
What's the deal with? Why has that been a thing today? What's up with Tony Robbins and corn?
You don't remember Tony Robbins?
I know who he is. He's like a motivational speaker
from
like the 90s. Why is he coming up in 2025?
Where did you see him come up today? Let's put it that way, and then I'll answer your question if you.
In Dave Neal's Discord.
That would be it. All right.
Specifically from Bruce. I didn't get it. I saw it.
Laura Owens, in that barrage of messages to Mike Maricini that we went over, sent a text that said Tony Robbins and anal ? Or something like that. Like, they used to like watching Tony Robbins. So she goes, Tony Robbins and anal.
Who said that?
Laura did.
Owens? Like, just
to Mike, she was just like, what do you think tonight? Tony Robbins and anal. You asked, all right?
This sounds like a Friday night.
I think it was like a Tuesday, man.
Whatever, man. Whatever. We don't have to pick a specific day. It sounds like a night in.
I bet they didn't pay $14.99 for it, man.
They're on some Tony Robbins on the HD TV.
Yeah.
On the big screen.
There's people who have no idea what we're talking about. We need to move on. All right.
Oh,
that's really it's really funny if you get the reference. If you don't, you probably hate us. But that was coming anyway, so it doesn't matter. Sorry. She liked Tony Robbins. Mike didn't care. That's my bad. Sorry, Mike. Okay. So should we move on to the recusal thing, or is there anything else you wanted to talk about with that?
No, as far as the discovery motion, no, I didn't read that. So I was just answering questions on the fly.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so I'll actually pull this up so that we can see some of it. Hang on. Okay. I want to make sure I'm not showing my entire screen, because who knows what my targeted ads are going to be like after you just said all that.
Or what's on your tabs.
And then made me explain Tony Robbins and anal. All right. It's really funny. I was like watching the comments in the beginning. They're so like, oh my God, I loved your conversation with Rachel. I was like, this is not going to be like your conversation with Rachel.
No, I have to mentally prepare for you. And I mean, for Rachel, to be fair, but
I was about to say it should be the opposite of that. What are you talking about?
It's just a different show. With the two of you, it's a completely different show. That's all.
She's like, I have to go on yours too, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, how do I tell her I need like 3 weeks to prepare?
I would love to see Rachel on your show and see if you could behave for 30 minutes.
I don't know if she can handle it, man. I'm gonna be honest. Like, she's too. She's pretty
resilient, man. I wouldn't put it past her. She'd handle it just fine. And you know what? You'd do fine too.
Odd. Like,
I saw you give like a really nice professional sit down with Clayton. I thought you can do it. You have the capacity. I know you can.
It just feels different. I don't know. It feels like like with Clayton, I'm just like, I don't care if I embarrass myself. It's kind of like the same thing with you. You're like, I don't want to look bad in front of her. I'm like, I don't either, man. I don't care if Clayton thinks I'm a dumbass,
Well, I
don't know what it is. I think it's just like she's like super professional and like nice and smart, and like she's like, oh my God, she's like, I should be more.
Yeah, but she's also a G, man. She's really cool.
Nah, she's
all would get
All right.
Oh no, you did not say that about Rachel.
No, I didn't. I really didn't. I didn't mean it. Please don't kill me. All right. Let me pull this up real quick. Because we're, like I said earlier to you, I don't know if I said it when we started this, but we're just gonna go over the what's really funny? While I pull this up, the other day I messaged her and she said something to me, and I was like, he and I just like tell each other whenever we say something embarrassing to you.
Tell who?
To Rachel.
Oh, you tell Rachel when you say something embarrassing?
No, I tell you when I say something embarrassing to her.
Yeah, all the time.
And then you told me. Hang on. I was like, we just tell each other whenever we're like being embarrassing.
Yeah.
Okay, why is this not working? Did
I
you
don't know.
fuck with my computer?
I didn't do shit.
We said
You want
Tony
me to-
Robbins and anal one time, and now this is broken.
All right. I don't think we need to read this line by line.
No, we don't, but I want to pull up. Give me 1 second.
You want me to share it on mine?
No, I got this. You'll take forever.
I did something wrong.
Yeah, you did.
I hit the wrong button. I'm good now.
Oh, you were talking about... Yeah, okay.
All right.
No, that's not what I want. There we go. Okay, here we go. You can't see that, can you?
I don't need to see it.
Shut up. Show it on the screen. All right. Can you read that? I mean, don't read it right now, but can you see that correctly?
Yeah, no, I can see it. I can see it. Just zoom in a little bit for everyone else.
No.
All right.
And they don't.
Just leave it how it is.
They don't need us if they can read it. No, All right, hang on. So we're gonna go to the. Let me go to the index here because there's just a little bit that I wanted to go over, and I don't want to go over everything tonight because there's so much that I haven't gotten into that came before this. So I'm gonna do that this weekend. But we're just gonna go over some of the
highlights,
the conflicts, not the highlights, the conflicts, because there's a whole other conversation to be had about the rest of this.
Yeah.
Where we don't have the time tonight because it's almost midnight for me, and I will actually
turn
into a pumpkin.
Let me just start with this. These are the ways that a judge can be recused. If there is a direct conflict of interest, like he has a direct financial connection to a party in the case, like Apple is the plaintiff, and he has $100 million in Apple stock, obviously, automatic recusal, right? Matter of fact, if he tried to deny that, you could probably...
If that guy has $100 million in Apple stock, then I'm asking him for Tony Robbins and anal.
Well, I bet you would. You'll be his sugar baby.
Yeah.
Is that even the term?
I'm not even going to deny that.
Yeah. Obviously, if he has financial interests that are maybe not direct, as in they're not directly parties in the case, but depending on how the case goes, it will substantially impact his financial interest elsewhere. He can be removed.
Okay.
And then the law protects the appearance of impropriety. There's an objective standard, which is objectively, if anybody's objectively looking at these facts, is it reasonable to assume that this judge cannot be fair and impartial in this case? And if the answer is objectively yes, get him out of there. And then there's a fourth standard, which is even if all of that is not true, even if there's not a direct reason to kick him out, even if he's not somehow directly financially profiting from a result in the case, even if objectively you can't kick him off on those grounds, is it better for the public if it's in the interest of the public to get him out of there because of the public outcry or whatever, or leaving him on will create such an external backlash to sully the reputation of the courts and the general public, then he could be recused for those grounds. There's 4 specific reasons. It's all under 455. I'm pretty sure that this one went for 455A, which is kind of like the catch-all. Like any justice, judge, or magistrate of the U.S. shall disqualify himself in any proceeding in which his impartiality might reasonably be questioned. That's a much easier standard, right? And that's an objective test that focuses on appearances, whether a reasonable person, knowing all of the facts, and though there's a lot of facts out there, whether or not they would perceive a significant risk that the judge will be unable to be impartial. That's 28 USC 455A, and that's largely what this motion focuses on. And with that, I'll let you continue.
Got it. Hang on. Let me just find the right section, and we can go over that.
I already downed this mega pint, man. This is like a wine cooler. This wine is bullshit.
I see a glass that's not empty, man. I think you're kind of a pussy, actually.
It was pretty full at the start of the show. I'm just saying, it's like, what is it?
It looks about half full to me. So.
Well, it was half the bottle. I usually split it with.
Half a bottle of white wine. Oh.
You know
Shut
what,
the fuck up, Karen.
Did you call me Karen?
Yeah, I did. Shut up. I'm trying to focus here, man. This is like when I was in your office.
You put me on trial. I've never even met you.
Language. All right.
What is this one? Oh, that's not the.
Like, what was I looking for here?
Are you doing all right? What are you looking for?
I don't know. You keep distracting me with your sounds and your wine.
All right.
Just
well,
shh.
I could just outline what the perceived.
Fuck, do it. I don't care.
I mean, you're literally looking right at it. He outlines it for you.
But there's so many words here, dude, and I can't read them while I'm talking to you.
I'll tell you what. I watched. I'm just gonna nutshell it. I watched Cassidy's video.
I wish
I've
you would
read
put your
this
nuts
motion.
away.
This is why. I watched Cassidy's video, and Cassidy's video was really freaking impressive. I don't know what Cassidy does for a living, but she dropped a line. It made me laugh. I was listening to it, like really seriously, like trying to dive in and like paint these mental pictures of where we're going with the conflicts. And then she's like, "Oh, and so when this happened, and you know
she's
what?"
Right there, man.
She says, "You know what? Chicken butt." I'm like, "What?" And then she like moves like nothing ever. I was like, "What was that?" I had to like double take and rewind it. Oh, is she in the chat? What's up, Cassidy?
Yeah.
Cassidy O'Connell.
You know, I was in when I was in LA the first time, we did something on one of these. I can't believe it's been so long since I left for so long. One of those amicus briefs, and she had like all this research and all this shit together, and I was just like, I just want to chat. Like, I just wanted to talk, and she's like, she had her shit together so well, and I was just like, Cassidy, I'm gonna derail your fucking.
You know what? Leave it right here, Lauren. So he talks about specific.
Yeah. Oh, conflicts. Actually, Brett, the guy who filed this, is here too. So say hi.
Oh, what's up, Brett Douglas McDowell? Yeah. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I know. Nobody wants to hang out with you. It's weird.
Nobody wants to hang out with me. Why would you want to hang out with me?
Just can you stay on topic, please?
I'm on. All right, I'll let you take the lead.
No,
we'll do it like we said. Okay.
No, I was listening.
Well, listen, just the 20,000 feet version of why everybody understands. If you watch Cassidy's video, it kind of follows what this motion is. There's a number of these financial investments that he has that may or may not be directly or indirectly influenced by what happens in this case. And this motion goes on to mention that there were civil rights arguments, indigenous arguments that were related to specific parties in this case that in some cases were ignored in parts and completely validated in others. And the juxtaposition of the two was a bad look for the courts, and it leads to public distrust, given that the decisions weren't consistent. That was one of the things. There was the financial interest in how we have stock in like all of these different companies that are tied to not just the movie industry, but to Lively, movies that she's been in, movies that Reynolds has been in. And the wonder is it good or bad that she's being sued by Justin Baldoni for defamation and fraud? And I guess it's now these breach of contract claims. Like, could it be shown that a negative result for Lively is going to somehow impact Judge Liman's investments with these companies? Okay. That would be grounds for a recusal. Matter of fact, if you could prove that, then he would have to be recused according to the law. Under subsection A of what we said. There's the personal connection with his brother that is I guess a famous producer, or he does movies.
So I've heard about that one a lot. I guess he was he did like was it a commercial or some kind of ad that Blake was actually in? And I think that was several years ago, but
yeah. Here's my concern. As impressive as Cassidy's video was and thorough as it was, and if you read it, and if you just listen to it for the full 25-minute video, it sounds like, well, holy shit. And then you take that in knowing how Judge Liman has ruled in this case and how it really appears like he hasn't significantly ruled against the Lively parties at all in this litigation so far. And we've been going since December. Even on little things, even on like motions to extend discovery deadlines. No, get it in on time. You haven't proved to me how you'd be prejudiced by having to comply with the original deadline. So no. How about just an extension on our deadline to amend the complaints? No, we're not going to do that either. Trials in March of next year. You will comply. Okay. in the
Well, I remember
motion,
that night when that happened because there was that letter came out and you were like really fired up about it. You were like, this is just like professional courtesy and like this is
yeah, it was,
obviously going to go the other way. And then I had taken, by accident, not knowing that letter was going to come out, a gummy 30 minutes before the stream, and I just fell apart. So
yeah.
I'll never forget that one.
No, and that's the other thing. Like I've been on record as saying is predicting that Lyman was, who cares? You want to?
Oh, you
what
were
do you need,
so
an extra 4 weeks?
this is so irritating. Like you were so irritated, and I was just kind of like giggling, and I don't know, it was a mess.
I told you that I'd never been wrong. I'm not going to be wrong here, and that was the first
But
time.
that
I
was the
ever
first
wrong.
time you steered me wrong, man.
But I steered you wrong again because I also thought they weren't going to grant the 12B6 motions with prejudice.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm not alone in my prediction with that. Other lawyers, reputable attorneys, asked 2 lawyers, and a bunch of others said, yeah, I'm shocked
Right.
that they dismissed with prejudice. What? We haven't even completed discovery. It's just these decisions that had no sense, that were not making sense to reasonable attorneys, and what normally happens in these kinds of cases. And so you take that along with all of these other things, and it causes the public to look at Judge Liman sideways. And I'm just going to tell you this. For all the good work that Cassidy has done, for all the good work that McDowell has done in this motion, whether or not Judge Liman is going to recuse himself depends on whether or not it is reasonable to make a case that Lively getting her ass kicked in this case is somehow going to impact his financial investments.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have to show, because I guarantee you Lyman is not going to recuse himself. He's not.
No.
I don't believe that for a second. He's just not going to do it. That means it's going to be left for appellate review. This thing isn't going to get reviewed until the final judgment, which means after trial.
Yeah.
So this may be an additional appealable issue if Lyman chooses not to recuse himself. And I don't think that he is. I just don't think that. I think that what he's going to argue is that his financial investments, although maybe tangentially related sort of to the parties, is not so intertwined that the outcome of this case is going to affect it either way. That's what he's going to say. Mm-hmm. And on appeal, you're going to have to argue, well, yeah, that's nonsense because of X, Y, and Z, whatever you're going to say. Yeah. That's really going to be the standard. I'll tell you what, it has been many times in my career where I have faced a legitimate question of judge recusal, but I'll give you 2 examples. There was one time where an opposing party asked me to recuse myself because I was representing my brother in a DV matter.
Oh.
And I'd met his wife like once.
Literally at the one brother, right? Chris?
You didn't meet, it was not Chris, it was Miguel.
Miguel, okay.
Yeah, so I was representing him in his DV case against his wife. His wife moved to recuse me because obviously conflict of interest, they're related. It's like, Your Honor, I don't know anything about this lady I met her once at a wedding.
Shit.
I said hello to her. I was nice to her.
How long were they married?
Oh, just to put it in context, I think he got married like when he was like 19. It was one of those, like a fly-by-night marriages. It lasted a couple of months. Yeah. It was anyway, there was a lot going on. Long story short, I just told the judge, he's not told me anything about his wife that I wouldn't get from just a normal client. I don't believe that this is a conflict, but if you think it's a conflict, I will gladly recuse myself. And the judge told myself, and he said, I appreciate your candidness. He said, young lady, just because he's related to his client does not make this a conflict of interest, and whatever. We moved on. There was another example recently where the judge learned that he was the softball coach of one of the children in a custody case that we were litigating like 5 years ago.
Huh.
And he said that, look, I just recognized her name, and you know what? I remember you folks. I coached her softball team. And I'll tell you what, I will gladly recuse myself if anybody's uncomfortable with me on the bench. And then we had this big discussion, and it turns out we wanted to keep him on the bench or whatever because we thought it would be fine. Anyway, there are times where judges will recuse themselves if they think it's going to be, because to avoid the appearance of impropriety, right? You don't want to give the appearance that something nefarious. Now, the reason why, because a lot of the comments on my channel is, you're saying all this stuff about how, the judge is wrong and this and that, but you won't like take the final step and say that he's definitely biased or he's definitely bought or whatever.
I saw those comments because I like turned off all my responses on all my social media today. And so I was like, why don't I go fight in Omar's comments? And so I found like all those comments and I was like, you guys are fucking no.
Yeah, I stayed all the way away from that comment. I was like, you know what? I'm going to pretend I didn't see it.
But I was having withdrawals from arguing.
But I'll tell you what, probably in like 70% of my cases, there's always a moment either before or during the litigation where my client tells me that they don't like the judge because they think the judge is biased or the judge is against them. So when an attorney hears that, I say, okay, it's like we hear that all the time. Yeah. I need to see tangible proof. The standard in federal law is there is a direct conflict. Like the direct one is obvious. He has 100 million in Apple stock and Apple is a party in the case. Obviously, that's conflict. Judge would recuse himself. The other is if it is reasonable that the outcome of the case is somehow going to influence either positively or negatively his financial investments elsewhere. And then you could apply the same standard to like his personal relationships with his family members as they are tied to the parties or whatnot. For example, Doug Liman, the brother. From what I can see, I don't see anything, and I don't see any flashing bright red flag where Judge Liman says, oh yeah, definitely, I can't be fair and impartial in this case. So I don't think he's going to grant the motion, although I think that the points are well taken. And I'll tell you this, if on appeal, something happens or comes to light where one of these financial connections benefited from the outcome in this case, that's going to cause an appellate court to look sideways at what's going on, potentially. They'd have to make a motion to insert that into the record as a fact not available at the time where the issue was ripe for appeal. That happens after final judgment, whatever. But that's the kind of stuff that we're talking about. That was a really poor way of trying to explain it, but that's in essence what we're looking for.
Gotcha. Okay. So Cassidy's message down here was if Friedman's house was in flames. That was back when we were talking about when they wouldn't give an extension for the, what was it? They wanted to amend and they wouldn't give an extension. Yeah, I guess that's what she's talking about there. I wanted to put that up there. Also, there's, we're going to get into like one more topic before we, cash out, but this is like not crash out, but you know what I mean?
Can I just say, man, I've been hearing Cassidy's name like a lot for like 2 months.
Yeah, all the time. She's great. She's got a lot going on like in her day-to-day schedule so that she can't just be like on YouTube.
Is she like
every day.
A student somewhere? She like graduated? I thought I heard her say that in her video.
She's really private. And that's a personal choice. So yeah, I don't want to speculate on that too much, but she's great. I think that she does as much as she can. And so like I hear about her a lot. It's just unfortunate that sometimes people don't get to see her stuff because it's like hard. It's really hard when you are like a little bit smaller and you got like bigger people covering the case every day to kind of get people's attention. So especially with
keep on posting. Just keep posting.
No, definitely, absolutely. I'm just saying that's why people don't know. I think it's not like oh, I don't care. It's just like it's hard to move up in that.
I've been there. I'll tell you what. I mean, I'm still there for that matter. But
dude, I would be nowhere without Dave. So
yeah, I mean, I feel like well, I don't know where I'd be without anybody. I feel like your channel.
Feel like you would probably be on a more focused track without me. But other than that, I don't really know. So.
All I wanted to say was I was really, really impressed with Cassidy with the thoroughness of her research, the depth of her video. I think that was the first one I've ever watched. Start to finish. I was really impressed. Really impressed.
And then she also said, Omar, I just want to emphasize this. Omar, your coverage with Rachel was amazing. I really enjoyed listening to that too. It was great. And so I just wanted to say, and not like you guys know I love to rag on people, but Rachel's actually just like the most awesome person. So she's not on YouTube. If you want to go find her, here, let me show this real quick. Okay, so you can find her there. But she's fantastic. Absolutely. Just I have no less than glowing words for her. She's
violent
fantastic.
Ball of energy, that lady, man. She is
she's awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
I hate it. I have nothing to make fun of. All right.
Michelle asked, there's a question here. If a judge gets recused,
let's pull that up. Hang on. Wait.
If it causes, all right. I'll let you pull it up.
There we go.
I can't do shit. You're in control of the comments.
We got a couple more, but that's always a mistake, by the way. But there's a couple more that you get to this one first. Yeah.
If a judge gets recused, if it causes appeal and he's found to have been biased, does anything happen to them? Yeah, they could be disciplined. They could be kicked off the bench. I'll just say this. If there's a look, if I was a judge and I just got kicked off the Bank of America case because I failed to disclose that my wife had a $15,000 investment in Bank of America and it caused issues, I'd probably err on the side of caution. And it would make me nervous that there's like 10 different companies that I'm invested in that have tangential ties into the parties in this case. And I would just, you know what? Screw it. Kick me off then. I'll just recuse myself.
Yeah.
And to avoid the appearance of impropriety, what's the harm in that? I just think that a judges sometimes, they either because of ego or something else are just not going to do is like, look, yeah, I'm invested in Apple. Yes, I'm invested in Mint Mobile. Yes, I'm invested in this. What does that have to do with this case? This is a defamation case. It's not breach of contract. We're not alleging we're not alleging tangible monetary damages here. In other words, nobody's going to be able to prove that the outcome of this case is going to affect my investments one way or the other. It makes no difference to me who wins or loses this case, is what he's going to say. Mm-hmm.
Would you want to be a judge ever?
Nobody wants me to be a judge.
I didn't ask if anybody else wants you to be a judge. Do you want to be? Would you ever, like, if that opportunity came up to you for whatever fucking reason, would you be like, yeah, sure, or no?
You know, I think I'd probably lose more sleep now than I do as an actual attorney. Because there's one thing. Look, I can go up there.
Not what I was asking.
It is what no, but I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I feel like being a judge, like your decisions directly influence the cases. Look, I could, as an attorney, argue and talk shit and make the big points or whatever, and it ain't up to me. And I could always, at the end of the day, say, hey, I did the best I can. The judge made the call, you know? And at the end of the day, as the judge, you're the one that makes the call. You're the one that lives or dies with your decisions. You're either right or wrong based on the information provided to you. And I happen to know judges that were wrong in cases that literally denied domestic violence restraining orders because there wasn't enough evidence, only to have 3 days later the person he denied the restraining order to murdered in cold blood by the person that they were trying to tell the judge about. And that judge got kicked off the bench and whatever. But I've seen that happen. And I can never, imagine having to live with that on your conscience.
Well, and that's also why, and as much as I complain about it, you and I probably haven't talked about this, but as much as I complain about this just in my profession, it's like, these judges will grant all these crazy like ex parte orders for Baker Acts here, where like if a family member or somebody just like writes down on a piece of paper, this person did some crazy shit, you don't have to have any objective proof of that, and the judge will grant it anyways. And it's like, well, what's the alternative? Like if they get it wrong, if they don't, somebody dies. So it's like you have to either A, like potentially violate someone's rights when they haven't done anything wrong, or B, somebody gets murdered. So it's pretty difficult in that situation, I think, and that's my only real experience with that. So like.
Well, I'll tell you what, the problem with being a judge is that there's so much discretion tied into it. Like so much trust is put into the judgment of the judge. And then there's judges that will, and then sometimes there's not, like statutory. Oh, I don't know what to tell you. Mandatory 25-year sentence, buddy. So I would like to give you a break, but 25 is the best I could do. And they'll rest on that. But it's those discretionary cases where you don't know who's telling the truth. And honestly, more often than not, cases for opposing parties are largely judged on credibility. Mm-hmm. And who's more credible or not at a bench trial depends on who the judge believes more or less. And the judge's biases 100% come into play. The judge's previous education 100% comes into play. And they will 100% get things wrong during their career, maybe egregiously. And so, I don't know. I feel like it's probably harder to be a judge than an attorney. Although I think that I personally would really enjoy it.
Yeah. Huh. That's cool. So you do have a lot of questions here. Hang on. Gene, thank you for being a new member. I appreciate it. You're awesome. Let's see. So we got a few for you here. Are you able to see the starred chats here?
No, like I said, you were, well, I think
I know you can't control them, but can you see them?
I can see them.
I gotta pee. So can you read those in I'll be right back.
All right, I will read just Ricardo since
These
you
are
put
all
him
for
up.
you, so no worries. I'll just take my time.
Yes, ma'am. Just Ricardo with a $2 says, Lauren, I'm hitting my bong. Does that count? Ricardo, no. Who smokes bong anymore now? And nowadays the kids are vaping. They vape. The vape is the new bong, I feel like. Bong is so 90s, 80s maybe, 70s. I don't know. What am I even? You know what? The bong is fine. The bong is fine. Unfortunately, I cannot get Ricardo's comment off the screen to get to the next one, but I'm going to read Enola Eusti with $10 says, just because I watch both of you separately and I love you all. Also, sleep, Lauren. Yeah, Lauren she's been on a bit of a bender, man. Not for like substances or anything. She's just been all across the world. Like she lives in Florida, and then she flew to LA, from LA to Australia back to LA. She got held up in Texas for some reason, back to Florida. She's a little frazzled, to say the least. And only used with the 10 again after this says, if everything gong gets repealed, I don't know what that means, gong. If everything gets repealed, but Justin has proof of defamation, can he refile with new stuff? Or since it was ruled already, can it not be brought back ever? No. If this was the problem with dismissing his cause of action before the conclusion of discovery. What if during discovery they come up with this smoking gun evidence of defamation? That would have been dispositive of the cause of action of fraud and defamation. But you just dismissed it with prejudice. Number one, they'd probably have to, the Wayfarer parties would have to file a motion asking to amend the complaint to reintroduce defamation and or fraud based on new findings that were not available to them at the time. And then at that point, it's like, that's kind of why you don't dismiss things before those causes of action before the conclusion of discovery, isn't it? It would lend credence to an appeal if necessary for the 12B6 dismissals. And certainly they 100% upon a granting of that motion by Judge Liman, they'd 100% be able to reintroduce those causes of action, but it would have to be based on evidence that's never been contemplated in this case. So it would literally have to be, we weren't expecting to find this, but we literally just found text messages between Lively and Reynolds saying, look, this is the plan. This is what we're going to do. We're going to make up some sexual harassment claims, and I'm going to go talk to the higher ups at all these hiring agencies, and we're going to smear Baldoni's name and make him out to look like this sexual predator and this and that. They'd have to find something like that they weren't expecting to find in order to have a motion granted like that. But it's not, if they find something like that, they'll be able to reintroduce it, because believe it or not, even though they've dismissed with prejudice, they have not litigated this to final judgment yet. The case is still ongoing. So hopefully, if that's what's going to happen, they find it before trial and maybe seek to reintroduce it at that time. I guess we'll see. Well, that's all I have. I guess I'll just start reading some of these other live comments. What is my Pima? I can't, you know what? I'm used to clicking on comments and making them go on screen. I can't do that now. So I'm just going to read them like this. Or can I? I don't want to put a user in timeout. All right. Pima
my God,
Holmes
you're
says,
fucking useless. Oh my God.
I have no ability to do anything. I'm completely relying on you.
Now you know how I feel. And flat.
All right. Now I'm going to refill myself. How about that?
Oh, shit.
Give me 30 seconds. I'll be back.
It's never a good idea. I don't actually know why I think he doesn't realize that I have full control of his stream when I do this. So hang on, let me just, no, you know what? That would be a dick move. I was going to play fart noises just for a little bit, but I'm not feeling that childish tonight. So, yeah, I don't know what you guys were talking about. Let's see. I asked Cassidy if she wanted to come in here, but I think I was too late, man. She's probably asleep. I'm talking to the void, not to Omar, by the way, because Omar is getting another glass of his bitch wine. Restraining orders don't often work anyways. That's fucking true. We probably need more judges who take the responsibility as seriously as Omar. I agree with that. He's a very good attorney and a good dude. Don't tell him I said that. I guess he just got back, so he probably knows, but he's also disgusting and I hate him.
Oh yeah? Well, Lauren is a feral caterpillar. That's my new name for you, by the way.
I'm a feral cat. Thank you. Courtesy of your boyfriend, David Jr.
Oh, I thought you were. Never mind.
No. I know what you go. Why don't you tell the people what you were about to say? Because I know.
No, I don't want. If you want me to, I will. But I was not going to.
No, I'm not embarrassed.
So, I don't even remember the context. But my daughter was like, "Hey," when Lauren was at my house, she was like drawing pictures with my kids, and then she said like, "Dad's boyfriend said that this is a unicorn or something like that."
Bitches. She's a cute kid. She
is a cute kid.
I'm gonna remind her of that in like 10 years.
Oh, she's very blunt. She's very honest. That was the one that's diagnosed autistic, by the way, like legitimately.
No, she and I have some stuff in common. Let's put it that way. But I think we're friends. So, I'm just gonna remind her of that in her card with no money in it at her high school graduation. So, yeah.
Oh, they love Dee, by the way. They say, "Where's Lauren?"
I love them too.
He's like, "Oh, she's back in Florida."
You know what? They're closer to me now than you are because they're in North Carolina, right?
No, the kids are with the grandparents.
Wait, you don't want them by yourself?
It's not that I don't want them by myself. It's just that I have trial. And when I'm in trial, it's just, I'm gone. I'm gone. And so for the next couple of days, they're going to be spending time with the grandparents, and I will retrieve them on Wednesday nights.
Cassidy is here still. Okay, Cassidy, check your Twitter account. She might be in bed, guys. It's like fucking midnight. I don't know what time zone she's in. So, but if you want it, just hop in. I just sent it to you.
It's already 9 o'clock.
Let me see. I don't give a fuck what time it is, man. You don't have your kids, so you're
Is
fine.
Cassidy going to come in?
Yes. Hang on.
Bring her in.
I accidentally sent her that link to Rachel's Instagram instead of. My bad.
You know what's funny? I joined somebody else's show today. Amy, Boston, and Kelly.
Oh yeah. I know those guys.
They sent me a link, but they put it in like the YouTube comments. I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah. That's never a good plan. Did anyone pop in?
No, luckily. Their channel is still growing, so.
Yeah.
But if you or I did, or anybody, well, it was a bad thing to do.
How chaotic do you think it would be if you and I did a stream where we just put the link in the chat and people just popped in here?
You should try. You know
I'm
what?
not doing that alone, man. You know that. Like, that would actually be. It would devolve into something I would get banned for. Like, because I would go along with it. Oh,
for Flad, I'm experimenting with live-in calls. Is this the Cassidy?
That is Cassidy. What's up?
What's up, Cassidy? The other 55%.
She might be muted or something.
Yeah.
There you are.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Great radio voice, by the way.
No, you're good now. This is my friend Omar. Sorry about him.
Sorry about Lauren. Not at all.
Fuck off. This is I was trying to behave on Cassidy's channel, so I was actually like, she's probably too appalled to like watch what we're doing right now.
I'm gonna
I never got to go on Cassidy.
I'm gonna grab headphones because I'm echoing real bad on my end.
If you really want to hear us talk, then go ahead. That's up to me.
Well.
Yeah. People are like Cassidy's voice. I fall asleep to Cassidy's voice. I agree. I used to fall asleep to Omar's voice, but now I'm so like I want to talk back at him all the time. I can't do it.
My voice is not the voice of fall asleep to. I'll tell you what though, Cassidy does have a really good radio voice. I was listening to it in the car.
Yes. And also, I'm not distracted by the purple lighting in her background because she doesn't have a face.
My lighting's not even that purple anymore.
It is so purple. I've been in your office and I've been in your home. Don't even try to tell me that.
I don't even know how purple became like my color.
I feel like I'm on the inside of a grape. Like, what is happening?
I just want to say this. I don't know how purple became my color, but it just did.
Oh, it's not working for you, man. I'm just saying it is purple over there.
Purple haze, man. It's purple haze.
You're embarrassing me already.
Well,
there's like a serious delay on here. I don't know.
That's probably for the best.
I still hear it like coming really late. That's weird.
Have you tried just muting Omar?
Why do I gotta be the one muted?
That usually helps me. Oh man.
No, he's got a great voice.
What did I even do?
I don't know. I'm stuck on the inside of the grape. I can't tell what you're doing. Somebody says it's like a strip club in there. Yeah. It kind of feels like that. Yeah.
Hey, Lauren, could I tell could I tell the audience what the other thing my daughter asked you?
Oh, well, I don't know which thing you're going with. So yeah, let's do it.
I think you know which one thing I'm going to. Just tell
I
me.
actually know. There were so many things your kids said to me that I was just like, I can't believe you actually just asked me that. But then I remember they were like 8.
So like Lauren's hanging out like for like the whole day. It was during our swim race. And then at the end of the day, Olivia, she's like, are you a girl or a boy?
Oh God, not that. That was like a month ago, dude. I forgot about that. That was like the first time. Then I go away for 2 weeks and I come back and they're like, oh, it's daddy's boyfriend. What the fuck?
But it was such an innocent question, and your reaction to it was so gross. Like, oh, you
because
little girl.
I'm used to it, man. Like I worked on the, I worked on the CCSU with kids too.
So I completely understand your question.
Well, like I think about let's think about the kind of kids that I've come into contact with in my work. It's like they've all got fucked up parents, right? So like they come in, they're like, oh my God, why do you have short hair? Are you a gay?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm still a girl though. So you got just like you just call me Lauren. It's fine. They're like, okay, mister.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So you get used to it after a while. It doesn't bother me at all, especially with kids. It's kind of like whatever, I get called sir in the drive-through line on the regular. I'm kind of like, I don't blame you. It's an easy mistake.
I'll tell you what. I went to give a speech at I don't know, speaking to some elementary school, and I was with a bunch of. I had to talk to a kindergarten class, and I'll tell you what, never again. Never again. I'm teaching law to kindergartners, and then they're like, this guy's a grandpa.
No jaywalking?
They said I was a grandpa because I had like a beard and like the gray hairs or whatever.
I mean,
whatever, grandpa, you little shits.
Grandpa,
I'll tell you
grandpa's
what.
boyfriend.
I was going to go full on Billy Madison on them.
Oh God. I love that movie. Hey, so Cassidy, anyways, we were talking about your video from earlier, but then you did a live tonight as well, didn't you? What were you going over tonight? Because I was in the middle of another thing and I didn't get to watch it yet.
Yeah, so I did a calmer version.
Mm-hmm. A calmer version. Okay.
Because my last two, especially the second one, not the chicken butt one, but
oh, I love that one. That was the one that was like chicken butt. What?
After my chicken butt one,
did I hear that right?
There was some backlash
because of the chicken butt comment.
You know what? I was so mad.
Yeah.
And I just like came on in full rage and just raged. And then I waited for a couple of days and got myself together. And you know what I noticed in the meantime, because I was kind of poking around and listening to different attorneys that I like to listen to. And I noticed like a shift change in everybody's demeanor. Well, it started with Omar. Omar, you and Rachel.
What did I do?
You guys were like,
oh my God, you were such a dick.
Something's like something's not right here. But you guys were really like nice about it. Like I wasn't nice. I was like, right. But then I think it emboldened everybody else to be like, hey, something's really not right here. And I was like looking at, and I noticed so much about like their faces and their tones and all little things. And I'm like, everybody, after they thought about it, because first it's like smack, these 132 pages of just blasphemy. And everybody was just like in shock, and then I think we all started to like slowly regurgitate it, digest it, and like it was like a slow burn of like something's wrong here. And then of course the people that saw me raging in two different, they're like running around. I saw my name so many times I started to get embarrassed.
Oh my God. No, you're fine. People like that though for some reason. They're like, we like mad Cassidy. She's so soothing and so mad.
I've never heard anything but good stuff about Cassidy.
No, I mean, there's like there's some trolls on the Reddit, but it's like everybody has those. Nobody wants to kiss your ass. Stop asking. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't go to I don't go to Reddit. I learned that a while ago. Like,
No,
don't go
I
there.
gotta.
It's
I
not
had
good
to.
for
I had to
your
log
mental
off
health.
of most of my. Yeah.
But
Hmm.
so then I started like reading things more slowly, and I had people send me some screenshots of a few things. And the one main one was this person had brought out something that the judge had said on page 28, talking about assuming that those thousands of pages were the same things that were sent to the CRD complaint. And you know what? It set me off. Only this time I stayed calm. Because I was like, why are you using the word assume? You're a judge. You're applying law here. Why are you using the word assume? It shouldn't be in your vocabulary right now. And so that's kind of like where I started, but I also like more calmly went through and about the money. Here's the thing. One of the subscriptions is Paramount Global. It became part of ABC because these things, they're always buying each other out. So he has stock in this, and he has big stock in it. So Paramount Global has this agreement directly with Maximum Effort, Ryan's company. So this isn't, a production company that Ryan's made a movie or two for. This is his company, and it's a first look agreement. So they've paid a ton of money for this. So that means whatever Maximum Effort puts out, they get first dibs. If they want it, they get it. If they don't, if they pass on it, then it goes out to other people. They put a lot of money into this. So if he starts to fail,
Oh, we might have lost Cassidy.
I think she got cut out, man. If he starts to fail, Cassidy loses her voice. Oh,
I want to explain about something she said though, because she said that like me and Rachel were like having well, I'll tell you why. We were, number one, me and Rachel were reluctant to comment on the conspiracy stuff.
I understand
the recusal stuff, because I didn't know enough about it.
Yeah.
I had not seen this McDowell motion.
Okay.
I didn't see.
Hang on, Cassidy, can you hear us?
Go for it, Cassie. Continue.
What's happening? I think I forgot my VPN on again, and I think it like messes things up.
Yeah. All right. Did you hear what Omar was saying?
Oh, I was just going to say that, the reason why me and Rachel were reluctant to comment on the recusal stuff because I had no information whatsoever that would lead to a recusal. Like I had not read this motion. Sure. Lauren looks like an Ewok. I had not watched Cassidy's video at that time. And so I just didn't have enough information to speak intelligently on it, period. And so me and Rachel just refrained because we were just attacking the legal standard for 12B6s at that point. And both of us just did not understand the gravity of why Liman would right now dismiss with prejudice. It made no sense to us. And that's what we were flabbergasted. So I didn't focus, not that there wasn't recusal things to like talk about, because there certainly are, and I get that. But at the time, I didn't know anything about it. I was focusing on the law of the 12B6s. That was all.
Yeah, the whole with prejudice thing is what's so crazy. It just, and what I really don't understand is how, all of this stuff about the sham lawsuit has come out in the meantime.
Yeah.
Why not let that play out? Why not get to the bottom of that first?
What do you do with that at this point? I guess would be my question.
Could I give you my perspective as an attorney from Friedman's perspective? I think this is what's going on. I think that the way that came about, there's nothing inherently illegal about it.
No, it's gross, but is it
even
illegal?
If there's like everything unethical about it, there's nothing illegal about it. So what would be actionable on a motion?
But
and the argument will literally be this: it'd be like, Your Honor, I know she's allowed to do that, but that sucks. That's bullshit.
But if
and
you
the judge
look
be like,
if you look at New York law, and I did a whole episode about it, because in the New York Law Code, It explains how you go about a Doe lawsuit.
Oh, because this was
Very
the state
specific.
court, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
This
it
was in
was
state
New York
court.
State. Right.
Yes. So I went to the New York State Law Code and found out how you deal with Doe lawsuits.
Yeah.
Because in a regular lawsuit, you have opposing counsel to represent the person who's being served a subpoena. So
Mhm.
they're there to protect those people. So in a Doe lawsuit, you don't have that. So, but somebody has to be there to protect the person being subpoenaed. So
Right.
what it is there, and I looked up a bunch of different cases where it happened. There was one, for example, it was T-Mobile. So there was this business and they had this consultant who would come in and do something with their IT. So he leaves the company. He's still accessing their company, their computers and stuff. They know something's going on, but all they are able to trace is an IP address. They want to sue this person, but they need to take the IP address and get to the person. So this is a real situation where, in fact, you need a Doe lawsuit because you don't know who you're dealing with. So they're sending this to T-Mobile with the IP address saying, we need you to tell us who this person is. So in New York State, when it's a Doe lawsuit, you have to appear before a judge. A judge, they said, oh, well, the attorney in New York, the attorneys can send out a subpoena. Yes, in a normal case where there's opposing counsel. But in a Doe lawsuit, you must come before a judge. Because the judge, you have to prove a prima facie case. Then the judge will issue you a subpoena if he thinks you've proven your case.
If those are the grounds, then I agree
Those are the
100%
grounds.
they
That's
should have a
the
remedy.
rules in state law. So what
Yeah.
they did, they snuck in, they file a complaint. No judge ever looks at this paperwork. Nobody looks at this paperwork. They write themselves a subpoena, take it straight to Stephanie Jones, knowing exactly who they want to serve it to. So it's not a Doe.
Mm-hmm.
Get what they
Exactly.
want, and then they close the lawsuit.
And don't have to notice anybody while they're doing it.
So nobody knew. It's not like the court said, oh, that's okay. Nobody knew that it happened.
Well, the New York Times knew.
Yeah, the New York Times knew.
Fuck.
Oh man, I get so mad about the New York
I
Times.
know you do.
I did like 4 episodes of the New York Times.
Oh, she's so mad at the New York Times.
Clarence
It gives me
Thomas
life.
of the U.S. Supreme Court, he has been trying to change the standard for actual malice. There's one other. He is on the record over and over and over again saying we need to change this. He said it's not the same world as 1964 when New York Times versus Sullivan took place.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he just needs a few more justices to join him on that.
I'll tell you what, Cassidy.
There's one other, and then there is a justice who had written a paper about it before she became a justice. So I don't know where she stands now. She's never made an actual ruling as a justice, if that's how she feels. But I feel like it's. I think he's right. It's not the same world it was then. People were a little bit more respectful in 1964, and now there's the internet. There's a million ways to defame a person, and it needs adjusted. It really, really and truly does. But I get mad because only Justin is a public. Now I'm getting so tired of my brain putting working.
Okay.
A public figure.
You're in good company.
Figure. So everybody else is not. So that was another point of my tonight's episode was everybody says Justin and Blake, Justin and Blake, Justin and Blake, but it's not Justin and Blake. It's the Wayfarer group, and in the Wayfarer group, only Justin is a public figure. But Jamie was defamed. Jennifer Abel was defamed. Melissa Nathan was defamed. Jed Wallace was defamed. They don't have to meet actual malice standards.
I mean, Jed Wallace is like a shadow figure.
Exactly. I can't even find a picture of the man.
No, he's like one goofy picture from like 10 years ago. Like, who the fuck is Jed Wallace?
Maybe it's me, but
I bet
But see, these are my issues. Is like you judged these, you completely disregarded everybody but Justin with your ruling, with prejudice. It's just wrong. And also that the Paramount thing, and I forgot what else I've been yammering on about.
That's all right. I was gonna
the
add
Doe
on to your point.
Why hasn't somebody said this was obtained illegally? Because that's not the standard for how you
Did they try to and what like kind of try to in one of those letters about Stephanie Jones and Edgeworth?
Well, I'll tell you what.
He tried to use it as a what's that
for
called?
the something shit. What is that called?
Criminal
fraud, something fraud.
Yeah,
fraud exception or something.
But yes, that's it. Crime fraud exception. But yeah, it didn't work. But I don't know. I feel like something more needs to be done. I keep waiting for. I don't know if Brian Freeman's waiting for the sham subpoena to proceed,
still haven't seen
or what he's got up his sleeve.
Yeah.
But I think the whole wire fraud and stuff, they need to straight up file criminal charges on that.
Well, I mean, he hasn't said anything about the Stephanie Jones motion to dismiss.
Well, here's the thing about that. All right, so the wire fraud stuff, all of the crimes that I talked about, they could possibly be ripe if the Van Sham stuff ever got properly litigated. Look, number one, where I thought that Friedman was going to go with this, and he hasn't yet. So now I'm questioning myself. But it was sort of like what Cassidy said. She mentioned this quirk of New York law. If you bring a Doe lawsuit, you got to go in front of a judge. Mm-hmm. But they brought the lawsuit, issued a subpoena, and then closed it before we ever even had a chance to get to the judge. Mm-hmm. And it was for a breach of contract cause of action, which meaning how could you not have a named defendant in a breach of contract action? That's ridiculous. And so it was a frivolous complaint by any standard measure. And so even without that quirk, it's still actionable, perhaps sanctionable under something. It has to be. I thought that that's where Friedman was going with it, and it's just never come to fruition. And so I share her ire in waiting for this to happen, and nothing's happened. I'm confused. I get it. Yeah. I get why you would be confused by that. I just
keep thinking he's waiting to actually lay eyes on the subpoena.
Maybe, but it exists.
The last he talked about it, he still has not seen it.
Nope.
Which is so weird. Why has Daily Mail?
But the Daily Mail has it.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Not just the Daily Mail, page 6 has it too. Somebody just give it to the guy. God.
Yeah. Yeah. Let him do something with it.
Oh.
What if I asked for it nicely? Do you think Stephanie Jones will give it to me? I only called her a cunt about 5 times.
I just talked to a nice lady from the Daily Mail. I should have asked her, hey, so what about the Van Jam lawsuit?
They interviewed you.
Yeah. Weren't you on it? Weren't you on the Daily Mail a couple days ago?
No, they quoted me after the dismissal. Yeah, they just got a quote. I talked to them for 10 minutes, and they quoted me on 2 sentences of something I said. And so
it's basically what happens in my brain after we have a conversation.
Pretty much, yeah. I say all this stuff this brilliant prose that comes out of my mouth, and Lauren remembers 1% of it.
Well, I thought you were magnificent.
Next time they call you, you gotta say, "I'm not telling you nothing until you show me the."
I want to see the subpoena.
Yeah.
No, just say something really fucking weird and be like, "This is an exclusive," and they'll run with it.
No, I could have because I felt like it. Well, I don't want to say.
By the way, I have a numbered Reddit account. They can't resist that shit.
Well, anyway, I knew where Cassidy was going with that, and I co-signed on it. I had the same concerns.
Yeah.
But Cassidy, let me ask you this. So we've been talking about this recusal motion. Whether or not Judge Liman is recused is going to depend on, I think, whether or not any of his financial tie-ins to the case will be affected either way.
Yeah.
How this case turns out. What's the best evidence that that's going to be a thing?
That's the standard. That's the standard. So I think the best bet for that is like I said, the Paramount Global, because they are directly tied to Ryan's company with that first look. Oh, that's what I was saying when I flipped out into the universe. So yeah, see, here's the thing. He's already had, there's something of his that was supposed to be released, and they've had to like postpone it. And I think they're scared to release anything right now because their reputations are at such a low. Like Another Simple Favor was just so pounded on, and so I think they're scared to release anything while this is happening. But if Paramount Global paid all that money for this first look thing, and then his stuff all like doesn't do good, doesn't make it, or just bombs, they're gonna have a huge loss because I know they paid that man a good amount of money for that. So if that happens, it could affect their net worth, and then it would affect the stock. That's about as close to that as I can get right now. The other thing is what I went is what I showed tonight too is beyond the actual law code. I went to the what's it called? It's about the conduct for judges, and it talks about not just impropriety, but the appearance of impropriety.
Right.
So you don't have to be doing something wrong, but if it appears that you are, if it appears that there's a reason for you to be biased or partial, that is something good. Now that's what the kind of things you can fight, and say you're not accusing me, so it all depends on him and his attitude. But I think the closest thing to it affecting money would be Paramount because he does own a good amount of stock with them.
Oh, you're muffling out a little bit there, bro.
Oh, and
yeah.
He does own a good amount of stock with
Just start shouting.
You got to speak into the mic like you
Of
mean
course,
it.
kids do it all the time. It works.
I think I started feeling too cool with me since starting to I started feeling myself. Okay, what's this Brett saying?
What?
Okay,
I
sorry.
literally can't understand what you're
I
saying.
cannot hear you.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. No, just keep that volume.
Okay. All right. I was trying to read Brett's comment. Can you highlight Brett's comment?
I'm not sure if I am ADHDing out or if you're just still. I think I said highlight.
I have
Brett's
no idea
comments.
what Cassidy just said. I don't know your mic is
Oh,
muffled
there it
now.
is. Right there.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say to look at him.
Well, what Cassidy's saying basically speaks to 455A, and that's what McDowell is arguing in his motion.
Yeah.
A broad appearance-based standard, not actual, appearance-based, covering anything that might make a reasonable observer, like all of you, doubts impartiality. That is a standard. And then 455B, it lists specific non-waivable conflicts, like financial or familial interest, like his brother, like his investments, right? Prior involvement, etc. All of these things that automatically require recusal if they're triggered in a motion that it might invoke both. And in this one, this motion is invoking both of those, like familial ties, investment ties, financial ties, whatever.
The third degree, so it includes brother.
Yeah. And look, there's been enough of a backlash. There's been enough of a backlash where honestly, half the comments I got on mine and Rachel's videos was, did you see Cassidy's video about the stuff about the investments? And
it's been nonstop for like 5 days. Lauren, you have to watch this video by Cassidy O'Connell.
Obviously, there must be something to it. The public thinks something is going on. There might be something to it. I'm just saying 455A, if it's going to get through under any law, it's going to be 455A. The appearance, it might not be actual, because honestly, I mean, I don't know if the outcome of this case is going to affect any of his investments, but does it appear like it will? And there's this huge backlash right now from the public. And this is a very public case. Everybody's really invested in it. It's the new Depp v. Heard. It's the Lively v. Baldoni. That's what it is. And so if the general public, who is deeply invested in this case, thinks that Judge Liman is not impartial, that directly implicates the court's ability to instill confidence into the general public. And that might be grounds for recusal.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But I'll tell you what, I don't think that Judge Liman is going to recuse himself. And I don't think that this is going to survive appeal.
If he had the decency.
Oh shit, Cash, you're like way muffled.
Oh no.
I literally have no idea what you're saying, Cassidy.
Oh, no.
You sound like you went into the bathtub and you're underwater or something. Like,
Okay.
what
Is it any better?
Yes,
You sound like a mermaid.
Okay.
That's
Sorry,
what I meant to say.
Under the sea.
Something more majestic.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my with my stuff.
You
You're
sound
good now.
better
Anyway.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the now I forgot what else. After all of that.
That's his fault, man.
Brett has the best case because he has a few more crisscrosses that Wayfarer doesn't have.
Huh.
So he stands the best chance, I think. You know, if the connections were as tight with Wayfarer as they are with Brett, it would be better. But yeah, what I was saying, yeah, if Liman was a stand-up guy, he would have said, hey, I'm not the only judge here. And my brother's in Hollywood and I got tons of Hollywood stock. I need to not touch this.
Yeah.
Somebody else can do it. But obviously he's not that kind of person. I doubt the rest of the judges are full of Hollywood stock. I think that's specific to him because he has a brother in there. And he's invested in a lot of companies that his brother has worked with. So, he knows which ones to invest in Hollywood. His brother, I'm sure, helps him. But I doubt that, I'm sure every judge has a nice, big portfolio. But I doubt the majority of their stock is Hollywood.
Just want to know if anybody else has Dogecoin. I mean, come on, guys. That's all I got left.
Man.
Yeah.
I don't even want to get into crypto discussion.
With Brett,
I don't understand it.
And that's connected to Mythic Quest. He does have a lot better connection than Wayfarer does.
Well, he was Omar, did you know he was he was a body double, right?
Who, Liman?
No, Brett. He was a body double for Ryan.
Cesspool too.
I did not know that. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Rest of the thing about the recusal, ideally, is that even a whiff of bias should be enough for it. Should be, but sometimes. Well, look, I'll just tell you what. If I was in Liman's position and people were concerned about my financial investments, and I'd already been recused on
13
appeal,
times.
Yeah, on a case, I would just, you know what? I don't need this shit. I'll get off.
Exactly.
You want somebody else? Give it to somebody else then. What do I care?
Right.
And then we're going to live my life.
With this guy.
Yeah. So I get that argument complete. No, I did not know that Brett was a body double.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know he was going to be in the chat either. So there's that.
Yeah. All right. Oh, Brett's on here if you want to talk to him. I do, but like I said, I told Brett earlier, I messaged him. I was like, I haven't been able to go over your earlier documents. So I'm going to try to do that this weekend. So hopefully we can coordinate something. The only reason I don't want to do it right now is because we'll be talking for like an hour and it's already 12:30 here. So I'm going to die. Yeah.
Lauren is jet lagged still, I think. A little bit.
Lauren is fucking confused, man. I don't know. Kenny Vixen, thank you for the 2. Lauren, Brett is in the chat if you want to add him. I do. I'm gonna coordinate something with Brett where it's just the 2 of us. So that we can do that.
Yeah.
So
as many people as can tell his story, the better.
Well, I just think that like
an interview with them that I'm
still
working on putting my slides on.
Right. Oh, because you're like a super organized person too. I was just telling him, I think you probably heard, like when I came on your show, you had like all your shit together. I was like, oh my god, she's a slideshow, and I'm just over here like, oh.
Cassidy's
what?
videos are intimidating. It's like, how does she got all this together, man? And I ain't got time for all this shit.
That's why I can only get 1 or 2 out a week. But you know what? Because my lives are a wreck.
Well,
My mind wanders. I can't stay on task.
can relate. I can relate.
I have to do it like that, or I'll get off and hate myself for a full 3 weeks for all the mistakes I made.
Oh, I know what you mean. I do.
Yeah.
But
Just,
if you ever want to do a live, you're always open
thank
invitation
you.
whenever you want to come on my channel and say whatever you want to say and talk about things. And,
Oh, he means
my mic
whatever
work?
you want to say, dude.
He's pretty casual on my show sometimes.
You mean I could say chicken butt?
You can say chicken butt
All
without
right.
any kind of negative thing happening.
No, that's profane, dude. That's disgusting.
You should ask Lauren the things that she says on my channel.
She heard
I've
it.
seen.
I'm tame on yours, man. All right. Well, I think that's probably where I gotta call it tonight because I got work.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
7 hours.
Got to prep for a trial.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean, you could be in North Carolina, but here you are. So.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, guys.
What the hell
Thank
was
you.
that, Lauren?
That was you.
All right, man.
All
I
right.
won't
Well,
say
thanks for
anything.
having me on, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Cassidy,
Appreciate
you're
you.
amazing, man. Thanks
Oh,
for coming
you guys
on.
are amazing. Thank you.
All right. Lauren, Brett is very respectful. If you're tired, he will respect your boundaries for sleep and recovery. I mean, I got to go to sleep right now, dude. Otherwise, literally, otherwise, yes. The reason is I have to go to bed now. If I don't, I'm going to be so cranky tomorrow.
But
It's
Lauren will
gonna be bad.
100% like meet with you at another time.
Oh, you
Or
know I
like,
will, man.
oh,
I mean,
yeah.
come on.
Oh, yeah.
as would
Lauren-
I if
Lauren's
you
amazing.
yeah, you know.
Yeah.
You got plenty of recourse to go on wherever you want here.
As long as we are not sleep deprived, which is not good for either of us. I can't speak for Cassidy. I feel like she probably works around the clock, but
Yeah, I have.
Maybe
I
I've
have
been there.
ridiculous. It's. I don't know why I'm still alive. Like I stay up till like 6 a.m. and like today, I've eaten a brownie and some blueberries, and I just completely forget to eat when I'm working. I drank a coffee and half a cup of tea, and I don't think I've peed for like 14 hours.
are you okay?
Breakfast of champions.
I don't know. I am not okay.
I think you need more calories, Cassidy.
Omar, Omar, did
Yeah,
you read this
I like
last one?
feel faint or like be like, why does my stomach hurt? Oh, I haven't
Yeah, I
eaten
wonder
in,
why.
like, 30
You
hours.
just need vitamins. You need to feed yourself. I'll read this right now. If it gets appealed with Supreme Court, does it restart? Does what restart? And
Okay,
defamation
go
can be
through-
brought back in. I think I already addressed this one when you were
just making
gone,
sure.
Lauren. Yeah, I addressed this one already.
Man, I wasn't here.
Well,
All right.
the
gotta
answer
go
is
to bed.
hopefully they find the reason to bring that cause of action back in the course of discovery in this case, because it will not only bolster the appeal case, but they would have grounds to reintroduce those causes of action.
Mhm.
Even though dismissed with prejudice, they could reintroduce them on a motion based on new evidence not available at the time, and they may be able to proceed in this case before we ever get to appeal, which would be way easier
Way
for
better.
them. Yeah, so we'll see. We will see.
All right, guys. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you soon. Probably tomorrow.
All right. Good
All
night.
right, then. I love you all.
Bye.
Good night, Lauren. Good night, Cassidy. Good night,
Good
folks.
night.
Yeah. See you.
You all have